Hi, Halloween friends. Today we're going to go on an adventure to Nederland, Colorado. And I'm going to attempt to talk and drive. Let's hope I don't have a wreck. Okay, now that we're through the construction stuff, I can talk a little bit. So let me tell you a little bit about Nederland. Nederland has been in my family's lore since before we moved here to Colorado 8 years ago. So in 2009, when my oldest two were really small, we were driving from South Dakota back home to Arkansas, and we wanted to drive through the mountains, and we ended up in this little town called Nederland, and there's this huge restaurant called the Black Forest Restaurant, and so we stopped there and ate, and it was really good. And then when we decided we were moving here, we brought all the kids back, and I think it was 2016, and we went back there, and we showed it to them. We ate there, and in the parking lot, I actually caught my wedding ring in the door as I was closing it, and my diamond popped off and fell into the pea gravel. And so I spent a good 10-15 minutes looking for it. I wouldn't let Brian move the van at all, and I finally found it, surprisingly. So anyway, we had been to that place twice, and then we moved here and went to go see it again, and it had closed. So the building's still there. I'll show it to you. But anyway, so that's like the main structure in our mind about Nederland, and we hadn't really paid the town a whole lot of attention. It's on the Peak to Peak Highway, which is where a lot of people drive to look at the aspens in the fall. I don't think they're turned yet, but they might. If I see any, I'll show you. Anyway, it's really pretty. We have been in Colorado 8 years now, and we've been here long enough to have kind of learned some of the crazy local legends. And one of the things that we kind of heard about was this festival called the Frozen Dead Guy Days. And it had bands playing. Like, we thought it was just some weird music festival, because there are a lot of music festivals here in random places. And so we didn't really think much of it. We had kids, 4 kids, and we don't go to a lot of music festivals. But anyway, I started looking into it at some point. I forget why. I think I just kind of had seen it a lot of different places, and I was like, okay, why is it called that? And so I started looking into it, and it turns out it is this whole story, and it's really bizarre. So I think we're coming into Boulder in a little bit. I think we're going to stop at Voodoo Donuts first, because this is a haunted adventure, and I haven't been there yet. I've been to the Voodoo Donuts in Portland, but that was a long, long time ago. I haven't been to this one. This one's only been here a couple of years. So we'll do that, and then we will get on the road to Nederland, and I will tell you the story. So here are the Flatirons. It is a beautiful day today. It's upper 60s. There's some clouds, but mostly sunny. It's just really nice. So I thought it would be a good day to take you guys on. So here, let's pick out what we want. The Voodoo Doll donut sat down at this table, and it's papered with obituaries. This is massive. There's no way I was going to be able to eat this in the car. The donut itself was pretty good. I liked the dough part and the icing part, but I didn't ask what was inside it. I just thought the doll was cute, and so I got it, but it had fruit stuff inside it. I hate fruit stuff with desserts, but I ate around it. It was good. We're moving on. Okay, driving through Boulder. It's a little stressful always. The roads are narrower than I'm Used to. Someday I'll bring you to see John Benet Ramsey's house and work in Mindy's house, and there are a couple of cemeteries I want to visit, but not today. Today is Frozen Dead Guy Day. So a little bit about Nederland. It is a small mountain town about 30 minutes west of Boulder, and it's up in the Rocky Mountains. And fun fact about Colorado is they don't normally post population signs when you enter the town. They post elevation signs. And here in the Front Range is about 5,000 feet of elevation. Nederland is about 8,000 feet. So we consider it up in the mountains. But when I was looking up Nederland and its history, it was kind of funny how it got its name. There is a town, let me not run over these cyclists. Hang on, cyclists are everywhere. At least they're not the e-bike. Okay. So was a town called Caribou Mills, and it's now an extinct mining town, but when it was an actual mining town, it was at 10,000 feet elevation. And so the little town that they would go down to, they called the Netherlands, because apparently Netherlands means lower land. And so when Nederland was incorporated, I think 1885, the town people chose to name it Nederland. And locals call it Ned. So we are on the road to Ned now. And I will try to flip the camera around a little bit to show you some of the drive because it's really pretty. This is Canyon Boulevard right now that we're on. And once we get out of town, I will try to show you some of the scenery. Dead Guy Day. In 1994, the City Council of Nederland heard some rumors. Apparently, there was this lady named Odd Morstel. Her name is A-U-D. She was from Norway. She and her grandson had come over here on temporary visas, and her son had been deported. And she was about to be evicted from her home because her son had made it without electricity or plumbing, and his second floor that he stayed on didn't have stairs. He used a ladder because he didn't want anyone to climb up them. We'll talk more about him in a minute. Anyway, she was older. She was on a lot of medications, and she was about to be evicted. And so she mentioned to somebody that she was really worried that she wouldn't be able to take care of the bodies if they evicted her. And everybody's like, what? Bodies? What are you talking about? So the authorities dug into it, and it turns out that there were 2 bodies in a shed on their property that they had been keeping frozen. So let's back up a little bit. So there was a guy in Norway named Bredo Morstel. I think he was born in 1900, and by all accounts, he was a great guy. He was a big family man. He worked for like 30 years for the Norwegian government doing nature-oriented stuff. And in 1989, he had a heart attack. So his daughter, Odd, and his grandson, whose name was Tigvi Bage, I think is how you say it, they were both very interested in cryogenics and a lot of strange ideas. But when Bredo died, they decided they wanted to cryogenically freeze his body so that when science was able to catch up, they could either reanimate him or clone him. There were strict regulations, I believe, in Norway, and so they ended up shipping him to Oakland, California first, where they kept him in liquid nitrogen for a few years. And then they decided to move to Nederland, Colorado. Some people say maybe it reminded them of Norway, with the mountains and the cold. So they built a house. Well, Tigve built a house by himself. He wrote a book on concrete, and he built a house, and it had no plumbing or electricity. So one of his other eccentricities was that he was what's called a prepper. He was waiting, for the government to collapse. And anyway, he had a lot of disdain for authority and for the government, and he put Grandpa Bredo in a shed by his house until they could build their life extension foundation, I think is what they wanted to call it. So Grandpa Bredo, and then they had another guy. I don't know how they knew his family. His name was Al. He was from Chicago. He died, and his family gave the okay for them to cryogenically freeze him as well. So they were both in a freezer in a shed. So Tigve, like I said, he had a lot of disdain for authority figures, and he also did not believe in borders. And so when his temporary visa expired, he just stayed. And it probably would have been okay, except that one of the things he was very excited about was the polar plunge, going into cold water to reinvigorate you. And he, I believe, won the world record for that and got some publicity about it. And that kind of put him on everyone's radar. And then he started taunting immigration authorities. And so in 1993 or 4, he was deported back to Norway, which left his mom and the dead bodies. So Tigve from Norway was still able to hire people to put dry ice on Grandpa Bredo. So he had hired people who were then getting CU students from Boulder to help cart the ice up every month. One of the things I read said that Grandpa Bredo would need dry ice every 28 to 30 days, and sometimes that was a little dicey trying to get the dry ice that they needed up here. So the elected officials in Netherlands of course, were like, we can't have dead bodies in people's freezers here. And so I forget what year they enacted an ordinance that you can't have dead bodies in your freezers, but they grandfathered Grandpa Brado in. So they were allowed to keep him. And from Norway, Tigby was garnering support. Like, this is such a quirky story. Like, the public kind of became in favor of keeping Grandpa Brado, and so they did. And in 2002, the town of Nederland decided to make it into a festival called Frozen Dead Guy Days. And so there was music, there were coffin races, there were polar plunges. It was a fun time in Nederland. By all accounts, like, the beginning festivals were really fun, and Nederland was on board with it. But as time went on, the festival grew, and it got to be kind of a nuisance for the residents of Nederland, because it's a small town. It's like 1,500 people, and they were not able to, like, have the infrastructure for that many people. It just became overwhelming. So, see, in 2020, 2021, there was no festival because of COVID. But after that, the festival moved to Estes Park, which is, I'm not sure how far away it is from Nederland, maybe like an hour. Anyway, and Grandpa Brado was also moved. He was moved to a building near the Stanley Hotel. If it's not on the Stanley property, it's near it. I have plans to go try to find it, because apparently you can pay $20 to go see Grandpa Brado in his cryogenic unit. So that's our next adventure. But I should be videoing this for you guys. Let me see if I can do it. So Frozen Dead Guy Days is no longer in Nederland, but I'm hoping to go find some remnants of Grandpa Brado in the Tough Shed. Tough donated a shed once they heard the story. So he's known as Grandpa Brado, Grandpa in the Tough Shed, Frozen Dead Guy, Frozen Grandpa. Anyway, the town is still pretty affectionate with him. And he is the last remaining member of their family to be in Colorado, because Aunt was also deported, and then she died and is also cryogenically frozen somewhere, a different state. So we're going to go see if we can see where Tigby's house was, where the Tough Shed was. I don't know if we're going to be able to find it. I think it might have been removed or torn down, but that's our adventure for today. And whether we find anything or not, I think you'll enjoy the town of Nederland. It's a cute little mountain town, and the scenery is breathtaking. Maybe we'll go on a hike. Reservoir. So this is Barker Meadow Reservoir. It's way down today. And as someone with a small bladder, I appreciate the random porta potties. Look at that. Go, go! Go, go! He's gonna as he should. I've heard that crows can remember people's faces for a long time, and that they hold grudges. So don't be mean to crows. If I had a French fry, I'd give it to you, buddy. There's the Black Forest restaurant. Still closed. Here's one of the mall areas. There's Backcountry Pizza, which is okay pizza. The stained glass place is great. I really like the lady who runs it. I kind of like to take classes there someday. There's also Wild Bear Nature Center, which is awesome. Took a couple of my kids there and they got to hold a snake, and they have a lot of cool things in there. Carousel of Happiness is closed. Man, I have to come back. Center, Wolf Tongue Square. So this used to be where you could get your picture taken with a picture burrito, and they had coffees there, but it's gone now. I guess maybe they moved it to Estes. The Alpaca Store. Dispensary. My favorite dispensary name is Starbuds. Lots of little restaurants. I'm gonna get out and walk around a little bit. It's so nice outside. So apparently they have erased all mention of Grandpa Burrito. I can't find anything. It's very sad. Okay, we're gonna go in the general store here. Well, that was a good hot chocolate. I'll go back there and try some of their food sometime. It was a nice atmosphere. Oh, look at some aspens. They're starting to turn. So I've decided to take you hiking at Mud Lake. It's right outside of Nederland. I've got some time before I have to take kids to school, or pick kids up from school. Here we are. We're just gonna do a little loop, but it's very beautiful today. Look at all this. Looks like I'm the only one here right now, which is awesome. So this little loop is really flat, and Brian and I joke it's one of the places we'll have the kids bring us in wheelchairs when we get too old to walk. So here is Mud Lake. There's somebody on the trail ahead of me now, so I'm gonna let them go. I'm just gonna hang out here for a minute. I don't like to be crowded on the trails. I'm gonna sit over here. This is a nice place to come hike by myself. It feels really safe, and I always see lots of dogs. I like to see dogs. Normally I bring my walking sticks, which I also call my deer stabbing sticks, because one time I got on the trail and there were deer really close, and I really thought the buck was going to attack me. So after that I have always carried walking sticks, both because I want to be able to defend myself, but also because it makes it easier to walk, especially if there's ice. But today's fine. So this is so pretty out here. I love being able to just come out into the Rocky Mountains on a random Wednesday. It's beautiful. I think we're alone now. I love aspens. There's a little grove. Some of them are starting to turn. Some of them are not. So I have an aspen video from last year. Maybe I'll try to make a better one this year. Other side of the lake. You would think they could have come up with a better name than Mud Lake, but here we are. Still pretty. Set the deck. The last time I was here, there was a cute little preschool group here, and they all had matching backpacks, and they were like holding on to the person in front of them. They were so cute. And when they saw me coming, they yelled, "It's a hiker, it's a hiker!" And they all got to the side of the trail. Bird or squirrel? I think it's a squirrel. Well, thanks for going on this haunted adventure with me, and I will see you next time.